Okay, I have an announcement, but before I get to this announcement, I just have some things that I want to talk about relating to dance. Even if you're not a dancer, this is also for you. I'm about to get a little ratchet. My inner child's gonna come out because there have just been things that have been weighing a little heavy in my heart, and I'd like to share and talk about those things. There are stigmas in dance, right, that I don't like. There are things about dance on the inside and on the outside that I don't like. So I'm gonna address some of those things. Okay, give my opinion on some of those things. One, aren't you too old to be dancing? What do you mean too old? Like, as long as I have a body, right? And I can move, right? As long as I can do those two things, I can dance. If the music comes on, I am dancing. Even if there is no music, I am dancing. Technically, that's called moving, because dancing is when you dance to sound. Something rhythmic, and there's a rhythm. That's dancing, right? But I can still move. I can still do this, and there'd be no beat, right? That was a really sloppy way, but you know what I'm talking about. So, yes. No, I'm not too old. Dance is not a youth exclusive thing. It's actually what keeps me young. And if you're asking that question, it's probably because you're old. Two, when I ask someone if they dance and they respond with, I can't dance. But if you give me a drink, I'm gonna be all up in that table and just shaking my butt and like doing all types of crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay, you talk big, but it seems like you're a little handicapped without a drink in your hand. Why does it have to be like that? If dancing is something that is in you and that wants to come out and does come out when you are under the influence, why would you deprive yourself of that gift? Who taught you that you can't dance? Who traumatized you into believing that you can't dance? I need you to bury those excuses and to face your fears. It's like definitely easier said than done, but it's possible. You can dance if you want to dance. You don't need no liquor. 3, continuing on that topic, dance does not have to be pretty or cool for it to be acceptable. It doesn't matter what media or anybody else says. It does not have to be those two things for it to be acceptable. As long as you enjoy it and you embrace whatever the heck comes out of your body, honestly, that's all that matters. There's nothing else to it. It's very simple. 4, if you only know how to move when given direction or sequence, I highly encourage that you explore the realm of free style. Free your style. That was super cheesy. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you're not a dancer because you can't freestyle. Because by definition, dancing is just moving to music. Sometimes in a sequence, something choreographed, sometimes not choreographed. If you don't participate much in freestyle, I think you should, because you can learn a lot about it, and there's lots of fears to face, obviously, if you are afraid to do it. And because dance is so vulnerable, I think you should participate in that realm of dance because it's genuine and it's authentic. Don't be afraid to step out of what you've been taught and sequence and structure and perfection and performance, because there's more to dance than those elements. 5, when people state that they can't dance, but they state that because they compare themselves to awesome dancers that they see in videos, in movies, whatever the case might be. And that's ridiculous, because these people most likely dance anywhere between 5 to 20 hours a week, whether it's just for fun, on a team, part of a studio, crew, competition, battle, whatever the case might be, right? So it doesn't make sense. You can't expect to, as soon as you start dancing, you're that. That's disrespectful to them because they work for that stuff, right? No one's given all those skills. I think some people are more inclined to certain things and are given talents, but you can always sharpen that stuff. Like Rock Lee, you know what I mean? Like, he had no ninjutsu or genjutsu, but he sharpened up his taijutsu. That's what you can do. Even then, at that moment, you're incapable of moving like these people. It doesn't mean you cannot move or you can't dance. Don't let that be a reason why you deprive yourself of movement, of dance, and of freedom, of physical freedom to move how you feel. You don't need technique, you don't need any of that stuff to move and to enjoy the freedom that comes with that stuff. Basically, you don't need to be really good to express yourself. Expressing yourself is more important than being good. 6, dance in some cases is seen as a feminine thing. It's not really seen as a masculine thing, and as a society that really pushes masculinity, fake masculinity, or not even fake masculinity, but like only being like, yeah, masculinity is the way to go, forget everything else on the feminine side, which is like creativity, understanding, patience, and like intuition, all that kind of stuff that's very important to a healthy human being. If you're a masculine person, you probably have a negative relationship with anything related to being feminine. Now, if dance is painted as feminine, then you're not even going to consider that a thing. Like, you're not even gonna try it. It makes you uncomfortable. You judge it, maybe. People judge it. There's all these dumb things around it. So if one is too masculine, they will not be inclined to explore something that is feminine, or less inclined because society tells them that that's feminine. And if they are one to follow all of that brainwashing, then they're not gonna even consider dance as something, as an option to release something that may be hurting them here, or as an avenue for self-expression. And I get it, like, even dance studio culture is dominated by females, but do not let all that smoke and mirrors fool you. Dance can teach you to have a positive relationship with your body, not pushing and forcing this idea that being ripped and being like massive is the way to go, and that's the only way that you can feel like a man, because it's not. And you shouldn't have low self-esteem just because you ain't big. I ain't big. I love myself. Dance was one of those things that the more I explored it, it was kind of like my teacher, and it taught me lots of different stuff. Loving myself was one of those things. Granted, there were other things that helped teach me to love my body, but dance was a big one of those things. Just very briefly and very quickly with the topic of masculinity and femininity, you need to have both. You not need to have both. You already have both in your body. And if you ignore one, like either or, it's self-destructive. You are imbalanced, and that's what can cause depression and insecurities, all that kind of stuff. So you need to get in touch with both sides, know when to use what, embrace them both, okay? Because it's not bad to be either one. It's definitely healthy to practice both, because both are necessary in different situations. But it's completely necessary for your sanity. 7. You know, like those kids who start dancing, the teenagers. This does not go for everyone. There's just, it's a very specific like audience of kids and teens. I'm one of these. You start dancing. Parents disapprove from the get, whether it's because they feel like it's embarrassing, or it's stupid looking, or I don't want you to get distracted. That's a thing. It happens. But what I don't understand is the push for sports. You can't dance. You can't express yourself. Okay, we don't do that around here. But if you want to play with balls, we got plenty of that. You like basketball, you like football, you like soccer ball, you like hockey ball. We got plenty of balls here. Which one would you like to play with? A hockey is not a ball, it's a freaking puck, I get it. And I wouldn't say soccer ball, I would say soccer. I totally understand that too, okay? All of that was just a joke. Moving on from that, took a little jab at sports, okay? Nothing against sports, but I'm gonna get to that even more. It seems that the only forms of exercise that are acceptable and that are pushed in our culture are running, hitting the gym, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, and sports. Now, why isn't dance pushed as much, even though it's just as good and just as effective, if not more effective? Our culture does not push that much at all. Not much at all. And I have theories on why that is, but I really do not want to get into all that stuff. The world seems to have a problem with art, and the world tries to control art. Now, if everyone's dancing, you can't control all those people, because then they start to look and they start to think for themselves, they can feel things, they can express themselves. You can do anything in this world, but it's harder to do the same things that you can do in dance with sports, running, and the gym. I'm not saying dance is superior, but I'm saying it offers other elements that these other three on the surface do not. The question: why do you even bother dancing? You're never gonna make it. And I'm like, make what? All I'm trying to do out here is make moves. Something that you can't do because you're scared. Dancing is fun. It helps me relieve stress. It helps me explore my creativity. It's good exercise, and it makes me happy. That is why I do it. That's why I dance, okay? I'm not out here trying to be no big famous dancer. You don't have to be that or aim for that in order to participate in movement or in the culture, okay? I do it for my sanity. I do it because it's fun. You should try it sometime. Now, I don't understand why there's no stigma when you see people playing sports. Doesn't seem to matter what age either. You're not like, aren't you too old to play sports? No, I don't hear that. Nothing. Or like, oh, why are you playing with balls? Sounds kind of gay, doesn't it? Like, why do you play sports? Like, why does anyone ever ask anyone that? Like, I don't think that's a thing. Obviously they play because it's freaking fun and it's good exercise, right? So why would you ask me why I dance with a negative tone? You can ask me why I dance, but like when you're trying to undermine me and like make it seem like dance is whack, I don't understand that. I don't know why you're coming at my life about that kind of stuff. And I understand that you think that there are more opportunities in sports. For some reason, financial opportunities, because that's kind of where we're taught to think that way. Scholarships, you can get a ride. You can do the same thing with art. Any kind of art. Music, dance, painting, drawing, graphic design, clothing, any forms of art. There are avenues. You can get full rides, you can get scholarships the same way. It's just as competitive. However, if you're trying to go pro, you're trying to make money playing a sport, I don't know how it's possible. But aside from the NBA and stuff, and maybe street ball, I don't know anything about that culture, or people make money like that off of that culture, or if there's any YouTube culture where you can play ball and make money. But with artistic stuff, there are a crap ton of avenues. You can employ yourself, by yourself, because of the internet. The birth of the internet has helped so much for a lot of independent creators. You can work for a company, you can team up with people and make your own company. You can just make what you like, and people support that and they pay you. You can become part of a big film, a commercial, indie projects, concert, music, right? Because music is a part of everything. Video games, trading card games, all that. They just collaborate like crazy, and there's lots of opportunity on the artistic side in dance, because we're talking about dance. So I don't get that stigma of like, yay sports, no dance, or just no art. And I basically already touched on it, but 10, like, I don't understand where the stigma comes from when it comes to art. I think a lot of it's just like, oh, it doesn't make you money. Like, why does everything have to be about money? Art is like, it's part of you. It's part of who you are. People like to be creative and like to express themselves. Even if it's just a hobby or something that they make like a small amount of money with and they're happy doing it, like, that's on them. They don't need to have extravagant stuff to be happy. They don't need a family. They don't need a car. Some people are not trying to have a family. Some people don't give a crap about cars, like, at all. Some people don't even care about having a house. It's different. We don't all need to have those things. I don't even think it's okay, anything's possible, but I don't think it's practical for everyone to get all those things. It's not, because there's too many of us, and we gotta figure out different ways to live. I don't understand the problem with art, but it's funny because I'm pretty sure you listen to music, you watch television, you watch movies, you listen to podcasts maybe, you read books, you listen to audiobooks, you go to concerts, you go to theater shows, you wear clothes, you buy furniture. Things are made by people, they're designed by people. People who create things, right? Creativity, art are married. And for you to then be a hypocrite and say like, you can't make it, or like, you shouldn't do this because it don't make you money, but you give money to creators every single day, even if you feel like you don't. I don't get it, but I think people's perception on art really need to change. I don't have a problem with you thinking in a negative way, because that's just how it is, but like, you're only hurting yourself to think that art shouldn't be practiced as much as some people want to practice it. The world is sculpted by artists, and you consume that every single day. So for you to tell someone to not participate in art, you are a hypocrite and you suck. Just kidding, you don't suck. Just love yourself, truly, okay? Please. Don't let fear consume you into making decisions where you only chase money, because that's what it seems like everyone is trying to do. I get that you need money to survive, but you know what else you need to survive? Sanity. You need sanity. If you cannot tolerate your life because all you do is chase money, you're literally committing suicide in your brain, in your heart. You get diseases because of it. You just suffer, and you know it. You know it deep down in your heart that I am right. There are certain things that you want to do that you are not doing, and you have excuses for it. Even if they're legitimate excuses, even if you can't even put aside an hour a day, an hour a week, an hour a month for the thing that you feel like you should be doing, it's because someone told you that you shouldn't be doing it, and you believed that person or that thing or those people. It's a lie, and it is why you suffer, or part of why you suffer. So figure that out. Quit judging people by the choices that they make, and just figure your stuff out. Offer wisdom and guidance, and don't be judgmental, because we all have it hard in some way. I know this is supposed to be about dance, and I just can't help but go down that road. I'm sorry. The last thing that I want to talk about, dance elitists. People who just think they're all high and mighty. And even if they don't think that, because they've gotten lost, where they know so much and they're great at so many things and they've earned their respect in their place. However, the ego, there's something negative about forcing and pushing and calling out in a way that is not constructive. It's not constructive at all. And so when I like to call out things, I might say all my spiels at the beginning. I always try and offer something at the end, right? It's a lot of nitpicky things within the dance industry, community, circle, culture, all that stuff. It's all kind of just like, right? There's little things. And one of those things is when someone calls someone else not a dancer because of X, Y, and Z. I think that it is not that person's place to say who or who is not a dancer. I'll give an example. One I talked about before. If you only know how to move in sequences, then you're not a dancer. By definition, a dancer is someone who moves to music. That's it. That is it. Maybe there's no soul involved. Maybe there's no feeling. It doesn't mean it's not dance. It just means that it's dance without intention. That's all that is, if you want to be really technical. And the simple form of that is like, oh, if you can't freestyle, you're not a dancer. And I totally understand that perspective. And in some ways, I respect it. But I just can't agree with it. Because we're being technical, right? And the reason why I want to talk about that kind of stuff is because I think that does more harm than good. I think that pushes things away. You could say, oh, it pushes out the fakes and the culture vultures and all that kind of stuff. Maybe. But ultimately, I don't think dance should be pushing negative kinds of energy. I think it's important to call people out on certain stuff that are more legitimate than that. I think that can be its own thing. There's performance and then there is raw movement. One may be less authentic, and that's totally fine. And I said maybe. But to me, it's still dance. So whether you just freestyle or just choreograph or you do both, in my book, you're a dancer. And then calling people out on the fact that they only know one style or know 0 styles. Facts. Cool. But to then put a label on them and then kind of like crap on their life in some way. I'm saying like, it's one thing to be like, well, like you only do this. I think you should participate in other things because it'll be better for you. You can better represent whatever it is that you're trying to represent. It's more fun. You can grow more. That's constructive, right? But if you're just like, slap, you're not a dancer because you only do one style, because call someone a half-assed dancer for the wrong reason, not qualified enough as a good dancer because they are very limited to certain things. I think that that is not necessary and it should be constructive. Constructive, in my opinion, is just better. And you spread more good vibes and good energy, and that's, I feel like, what we're all trying to do here in this community. I'm speaking from personal experience, I'm speaking from other people's experience, observing people in power trips and ego, culture vultures, all that stuff is just, it's here. I am not the most qualified person in a lot of things, like I'm really not. I know what I'm good at, and I'm truthful about what I know. If I don't know something, I'm like, this is the extent of what I know. If you want more, if I know the source or whoever trained me, I'd be like, go this way. Ask them questions because they know. If you want info, hit me up. I'll ask some questions from my dance elitists or whoever you feel about any of this stuff. Like, does it bother you that people move but they are not educated history-wise? Maybe even technique-wise. They're not educated, but they move. But they enjoy it. It's fun. It brings happiness to them. I think when you have a problem with that, you are part of the problem. I think it's cool to try and find a way to enrich their lives, but to call out, to shame, or whatever. Maybe because they're getting a lot of attention and they're successful in a way that you don't approve of, or a way that hurts the culture. That part I can kind of agree with. And what I mean by that is like, if they're just doing that and they're enjoying themselves and in some ways they're successful and maybe they're even teaching, and if you have a problem with that, I think it may be an egotistic thing, or you're just calling someone out because they may not be paying dues to something, or maybe they're not as knowledgeable as you are in something or in a lot of things. But that still does not change the fact that dance is still dance, and they're doing something that they enjoy. And sometimes people do things for the hustle in every industry ever, because the world kind of pushes everyone in that direction. Now, I understand if you have a problem if this person's spreading the wrong crap. They claim themselves to be something that they're not, or teaching something that is false. If they claim to be a certain kind of dancer, or they teach a certain style, and they have no idea what the hell they're talking about, that's the only time I can agree. But other than that, I think everything has its place, everything has its roots. Is it necessary to know the roots of everything? No. I think it's important to pass information on when you know it, and to encourage people to seek information and to study. But to make someone feel they are inferior to you or less worthy, or to treat them lesser because they decide not to, I think that does more harm than good. Maybe I'm just soft, I don't know. But I believe in promoting that stuff in a way that's not forceful, or you come off like, oh, I'm better than you, go study your crap. I think Maybe in some ways you have the right to do that. I think maybe because it's a different time and I think differently and I'm more empathetic, that I wouldn't talk like that. Because I'm respectful to everyone regardless of their age. I never treat someone like I'm better than them. I might joke around about certain stuff, but I only speak what I know. I think that's what people should do too. And you should encourage people, motivate and encourage people to do certain things, and to not be skeptic of everything and to act like you know things and to cut people off mid-conversation about certain stuff because you think you know something better than somebody else. Like, that stuff is just, that I don't like that stuff. People that are like that, like elitists, they need to learn how to listen and understand and to remember that they were once like that. At some point in their life, they were like that, and they probably turned a corner. We all turn corners. And for you to not be patient with other people who are potentially going through the same thing, even if this person is like arrogant, you can tell they're doing stuff for the wrong reason. I think there are ways to approach it that are more effective instead of spreading weird energy. I'm all about the vibe, so I try to keep it good, you know? Whether it's like super positive or super truthful and real without intentionally trying to hit someone right in their soul. I don't know, but maybe soul punches are your thing. You like doing that because it's a nice wake-up call. I see that, I get that perspective, but I feel like it just does more harm than good for some reason. And I think that that's why people are intimidated of dance. I truly think, like, with all this, like, in combination with, like, seeing great dancers, like, dance is intimidating. And so people are, like, afraid to venture into it. I want to be one of those people who really open up dance to the world, and I want dance to be accessible. It is, but not in everyone's mind. So that's my goal, and I don't think that talking about dance and doing things that way is the way to do it. So I know right now people, a lot of times they speak about opinions, they're only talking about people in the industry and people in the culture community. I'm talking about people outside of it, how they view it and how they see it and how they feel about it. And those are the people that I want to kind of show what we're about. Obviously not everything's perfect in anything anywhere, but I'd like to show the good sides and the positives and how they can enrich their lives with dance. I don't know if I honestly covered everything that I wanted to cover. I tried. Totally cool to shoot an opinion, to challenge me. But like, if it's just like to prove that you're right, to me it's just about you don't have to prove yourself that you're right to me. Just put your opinion out there. I'll listen to it. I know that I love to listen and to understand and to see perspective. So if you got things to say, you can say it. So after all that, now that I'm done my little spiel, I'd like to talk about what I'm going to do about it. Because I'm never one person to just complain about something or to rant about something or take shots at something and not offer something constructive or a solution. So after all this time of trying to figure stuff out with myself, my take on dance, my position in dance and all that stuff. But first and foremost, let me tell you, if you don't know already, I've said this all the time, I do not see myself being a hardcore, crazy, beast mode practitioner, master dancer of any kind. Like, I don't see that for myself. I enjoy movement. I enjoy dancing. And I like exploring stuff. I like taking class. I like hearing. I like seeing. I honestly have yet to like dive into the history of anything. I'm part of the digital age choreography urban dance culture, and it's fun, and I really, really enjoy it. And I have explored other things, and I understand that urban dance culture derives from pop culture and hip-hop culture. So what I'm doing to kind of address all the things I talked about is I'm going to be hosting workshops. I'm going to be hosting a total of 7 this year, and they're called the Soul Sessions Movement Workshops. The series is based on mind, body, and spirit. If I'm good at anything, it is listening, understanding, and being empathetic. The goal of these workshops is to instill the confidence that enables people to move their bodies freely without judging themselves. This isn't necessarily for experienced dancers, but it can cater to them. I'm really trying to open this up to non-dancers who believe that dancing is just for dancers. You feel me? I think dance is for everyone, and I want it to be accessible for everyone because I think it's something that can help with mental stress, emotional damage, or any of that kind of stuff, right? And I'm sure all dancers can agree that it does a lot of stuff for us, and for a lot of us it's our mentor. And I think that it's just nice to have. I think people should be able to move their bodies how they want without feeling like the whole world's gonna laugh at them, because it's not like that. I think having the confidence to move your body the way that you want is a source of freedom. I think intentional movement, if you are someone that you feel like you don't always move with intention, intentional movement is very, very powerful, because then you now learn how to combine yourself and what you feel inside with physical things that you can see and feel in your body, right? I'm all about that. And that's something that I try and practice a lot with myself. Dance can be used to explore different emotions, concepts, creative ideas. We're always going to be talking about releasing whatever it is that's inside of you that you need to get out in a way that can be positive for you. If I can reach you like right here, then we can explore ourselves and we can explore each other. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. There is no age limit. There's no body limits. Age and shape doesn't matter to me. It's all just about movement and dance. My goal, aside from what I said earlier, put it even simpler, is just to heal and to empower. I think in some ways a lot of us have been traumatized in different ways, mental, emotional, physical, and there's built up tension in certain areas of our body, in our mind, in our heart, in our souls. And I have the capacity and the patience to work out those traumas and those things with you. I do. I love it. It's my thing. And one of my favorite ways to do that is using dance and movement as a tool. So dance and movement is my platform, or one of my platforms, to exercise the skills that I have to help people who want to overcome obstacles in their life. And this is exactly why I'm hosting this workshop. And the best part is that it's free. I'm not charging anything. However, you're gonna ask, well, how do you keep this sustainable, my friend? What the heck? How do you do this? I don't want people not having money. I don't want that to be a reason for people not to be able to make it out to the classes. So that's why it needs to be free. And I am getting support from Planet Dance. I will be hosting my workshops there. If you do want to support so that there is some kind of sustainability, and when I say sustainability, it would just mean like, so I can further push this concept and continue to explore and do different things at a faster rate and at a more relaxed rate, where I'm not fighting against time or the fact that I need to hustle to make money. I do have a Patreon. I'm gonna make a whole separate video on Patreon, but basically Patreon is just a place where if you pledge to donate X amount of money each month, I can give perks to you each month, and you can donate as little as $1, and that would be freaking awesome. Usually people charge anywhere from like $5 to $20 to $50 to $100 for a workshop or whatever. If you think what I'm doing is important and it's great and you want to support that, that'll be freaking awesome. And I know that I'll have some kind of consistency in my life so that I can build, so I can upskill what I'm doing. So Patreon is one of the best places for me to do that. And just know that like when you give $1, there's like percentages and stuff taken out, so I don't get a full dollar or anything, but that's just something to keep in mind. Speaking of the perks, if there's something that you want to see from me or that you want from me, I'm taking suggestions like forever. So if you're like, oh, like it'd be cool if, this was a perk. If it's doable or it's reasonable, then I'm down. Also, these workshops will be theme-based. I have a total of 7 themes for this year, and it's gonna go in a very specific order, and I really hope to see you there. Now, if you're someone who you're not trying to dance necessarily, but you still want to support this venture, you could do that too. You can be my patron, and you could just donate X amount and help really push this vision. Aside from doing this workshop, which is just one of the many things that I want to do, I'm always trying to pass on good energy, hear people out. I'm getting more into collaborating with people. I always try and take care of my circle and build people's ideas. If you really believe in me and believe in the stuff that I'm pushing out, the best place to support me from a financial standpoint is Patreon. The vision is to be able to sustain myself one day and just do it for the people. Give back in any way that I can is what I want to do. So I'm basically like a little charity, right? That's all my mind ever thinks about, because I know what my purpose is, and it is not a selfish one. I do need to be selfish in order to gain certain things, but all of that gets harnessed and I blast it out to everyone that I can reach. And I'm continuously educating myself, not specifically in dance, I want to make that clear, but in lots of other things that'll make me a more complete person, that'll make me feel better. The more complete I am, the more I can help people in different areas of their life. This is something that I only recently came to. People will always ask me like, oh, like when are you gonna teach? But now that I'm here, this is the real deal. Like, I'm so into this idea. I'm gonna craft each class as best as I can. I'm gonna leave the dates and the title of each workshop. I'm either gonna make an end card or like leave it in the description or whatever. You guys will know. Hopefully that wasn't too much for you to take in, but just know that I'm out here trying to do good stuff, because I believe that we all have a responsibility to each other, and I mean that in the utmost genuine, real way as possible. So I hope you choose to support me in any way that you can, because I'm just gonna keep pushing for change and for truth and for awesomeness. Thanks for watching. Peace.